MCPs allow you to enrich your coding agent like Cursor, Claude Code, or Codex with additional tools and make it interact with the outer world. In this video, I want to show you 3 MCPs which I find really useful for AI coding. We will look at how to add documentation of different libraries to your agent using MCPs. We can see how to add browser access to the agent to test and debug your app, and also how to allow agent to do web search to find some tutorials for integration of different libraries and how to scrape these pages automatically. What is an MCP? MCP stands for Model Context Protocol. So it's basically a protocol developed by Anthropic, but now used by mostly all of the coding agents, including Cursor, Claude Code, Codex, OpenCode, Gemini, and many others. And it allows you to add additional tools. All coding agents, they come with default set of tools like read file, write file, find file, execute command line, but you can add additional tools using MCPs. For example, you can connect your coding agent to Jira to read and complete tasks, or to Google Drive to read files from Google Drive. And basically there are hundreds or thousands of MCPs available, which you can use and integrate into your coding agent and make it more agentic. Despite MCPs being very cool and useful, MCPs can easily blow up your context of your model. We have a separate video about how adding an MCP adds to your context. The more MCPs you add, the more context is used, so the model hallucinates more, and you pay more money for every request. That's why in this video, I want to focus on MCPs that are really useful. I will be adding these MCPs to Cursor, but you can add these MCPs to any coding agent which you prefer. The first is called Context 7. So the idea behind Context 7 is that it allows you to add different third-party documentation into your agent. So when you run an agent, it uses some underlying model like Claude Sonnet or GPT Codex, and this model, they are fixed, so they don't have access to the latest documentation, so they might hallucinate. And in many cases, it would be a good idea to add some documentation to the context of your model, but not all the documentation, but just part of the documentation that is needed. So Context 7 basically saves you time when you would go to the documentation website, find the necessary piece of documentation, copy it and insert it into your agent. So instead, Context 7 does this for you. So let's see how we can install it and how we can use it. Official Context 7 GitHub, you can scroll down to installation section and just find the coding agent you need. So in our case, we need Cursor, and I can just click add to Cursor and will be redirected to add this MCP, install. And you see now I have Context 7 installed. It means that now I have 2 additional tools, Resolve Library ID and Get Library Docs. So now when I do a request, I can add use Context 7 to the end of this request. And first it will resolve which library it needs. And second, it will get documentation for the part I need. Let's see how it works. I have this interview prep website where I can insert job description and do some mock interview with AI. So this is like a start of the conversation. Let's say I want to add sitemap to this website. Sitemap is a file which has all the links you have in your web app. Next.js has a way to automatically generate this file. So what I'm going to do now, we'll open a new agent in Cursor. Then I will ask, create sitemap file, use Context 7. So in order to use this MCP, I just added use Context 7, and let's see what happens. You can see because we added Context 7, it first ran Resolve Library ID tool to define that the library is called Next.js, which is correct. And then it ran Get Library Docs tool and fetched documentation specifically for sitemap. So it automatically detected the library and it automatically detected what part of the documentation it needs to include into the context. And it added this sitemap.ts file, which will be automatically converted by Next.js to XML file, which is correct according to the documentation. And the file is also correct. It doesn't know the domain, obviously, but the rest is fine. We have just one URL here. You can go to official Context 7 website and see what libraries are available. In total, they have about 58,000 libraries available. So you might just check if libraries you use are available in this MCP. The next MCP I'm going to show you is called Playwright MCP, developed by Microsoft. Playwright MCP allows your agent to open browser, fill forms, click buttons, make screenshots, and interact with your website in development mode, and also read console logs. In order to install it, again, you may just copy this JSON, or you can go to Cursor and click Add to Cursor. I already have Playwright MCP installed and enabled, so you see which tools are now available. All these tools are related to browser. Now, what I'm going to do is I want to open agent. So I want agent to open the browser using this Playwright MCP. I wanted to run and open this website, which we are developing. I wanted to fill the job description, click button, and then give us feedback about the UI and check console in case there are any errors. Run the project, then open it in browser using Playwright, fill job description, start mock interview, answer one question. After that, give me feedback about the UI and check console logs in case there are any errors. Let's run this prompt. You can see that Playwright opened the browser. You can see it filled some job description. Now it started the interview. You can see all these tool calls in the agent. It decided to answer to the first question as I asked. Cool, it clicked send. You see Playwright is taking a screenshot of what's going on the page. And you see test result summary. So test log completed, log analysis. Check that no errors or warnings in console of the browser. UI feedback, issues recommendations. Obviously now I can ask Cursor to implement any of those changes you want to implement. Here you might think about security and what happens if you're logged into some website and, for example, agent decides to open this website on your behalf. So first, as you can see, Playwright creates a new profile in Chrome. So it doesn't use my default opened Chrome profile, which is nice. It means that I'm not logged into any website. But it still can be dangerous, and you need to be aware of that. You might want to turn on setting in Cursor where you approve every tool call Cursor makes, so you are aware of that. It doesn't go into a website you don't want it to go. The last MCP I wanted to show you is called Firecrawl. So Firecrawl allows your agent to do web search and fetch content on different websites. I found it useful when you need to implement something complex. For example, you want to add database integration to your app. So you might want to find a couple of tutorials on Medium and include them into context of your web app. So in these cases, Firecrawl works really good. So in order to install it, you need to add this Firecrawl JSON into settings in Cursor or in your agent. There is an instruction in official GitHub repository, of course. The only thing you need to have an API key. They have some free credits. After that, I think you have to pay. Now, when you have Firecrawl installed, you can see that it has 6 tools, including scrape, map, and they have different tools. The tool I usually use is search and scrape. So search allows you to do web search, kind of a Google functionality for your agent, and scrape allows you to scrape the information from the web page. Let me show you an example of how you can use Firecrawl. So let's say for this project, I want to implement integration with Supabase. So Supabase is kind of a Postgres with authentication and other things on top of it, which is quite useful backend as a service. Use Firecrawl search to find tutorials about Next.js 15 and Supabase integration and create a plan for this project to add Supabase database and authentication. And now let's run the agent. You see that it is running Firecrawl search. You see the query, you see the limit, you see sources web, scrape options markdown. So it means that it will fetch all the pages as markdown and read them. Cool. And now you see that it created this plan in markdown format, which I now can use to implement the actual changes. I must say that some agents, they have these tools, web search or fetch, or other tools available to Firecrawl. So do check your agent. For example, Cursor, they have these tools, so you don't need a separate Firecrawl MCP. You can just use internal tools and ask agent to do web search. Other agents, like Codex, they, for example, can't fetch content if you send a link. So it's a good idea to use MCP like this. MCPs can be very useful if you know which MCPs to choose and how to use them properly, how to mention them in the context of your agent. But obviously, you need to be careful with security issues, because with MCP, you give your agent internet access to internet sometimes, giving your API keys and allowing it to act on your behalf. So you need to check which tools are available to it, security vulnerabilities you can potentially add to your pipeline. This was all for today. Thank you very much for watching and see you next time.